The song's titled The Kids Were Right, but are they really? So, to find out what kids think about chronic health conditions and what it's like to have an adult in their life with chronic health conditions, this evening I'm going to sit down and have a conversation with two of my nieces and two of my nephews on just that subject. So hang around and see what they had to say on it. You know what I really wanted to know, what I wanted to ask Sheila? What you think about having an auntie who's unwell? Someone who's got cancer and multiple sclerosis. Like, has it made any difference to your lives?
No, like there's a lot of stuff still. Like it was a lot. In the first time when I heard it, I think it was Dad that told me in the beginning. But like I didn't really know too tough in it. Like I didn't really know about it too much.
Didn't understand
Yeah,
it. You were very young.
Yeah, that's what it
because
is.
when
Yeah.
we think about it, it was 2017. So how old were you in 2017? That is 9 years ago.
Oh my God, 22 now.
Yeah. Oh no, you asked me to do maths. So you what, 12? No, bit older.
13.
13. Thank you very much, Janaya. See, I can't start it. She knows you do maths. It's too late at night for that. So you were only 13, which means that you, Janaya,
That must have been like 9. No,
there's 3 years between you, 4 years between you.
Because I'm 18 now, so I must have been like 9.
Yeah. So you were only 9 as well. So you guys were young. You weren't even born. So yeah, because you were actually due to be born the year I got diagnosed with MS. So actually, when I was diagnosed with MS, you were like 6 months old.
Oh.
Yeah, 2 years before the cancer diagnosis. So you've only ever known me sick.
Yes, you only know you're sick. That's
and the same as you and Maya as well, because at least you were actually born a couple of months before that diagnosis, but you're a couple of years after, like a year. What are you, 8 now? So Maya, you were literally 1 year old.
So
No, hold on, you're 8, so I'd already had cancer for you.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So
No, she's never seen
that's
you
what I'm gonna say.
yeah,
She's never seen
you with
dreads.
dreadlocks.
That's what I'm about to say.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
did I have though? Wait,
Yeah,
did I?
No,
When
she
I was
won't
little.
remember.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, she was little, innit? Yeah.
So,
Because I was thinking of mine,
Yeah.
definitely see with dreads there.
So
Yeah.
Maya,
Yeah, she had dreads proper.
I was diagnosed with cancer the year after you were born. So I already had both cancers and multiple sclerosis before you were ever born. And we still have to explain to you what they even are.
No.
There you go. Do you know what those things are?
No.
There you go. There you go. Whereas Janaya, I remember sitting down with you. So it was the second chemo I was going to be having. So I had... No, this is for the chemotherapy. The MS, you like too young.
But
You were
they're two
literally a
different
newborn.
things.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's 3 serious conditions, and then I have some other not so serious conditions that are caused by the cancers. But MS was the first one I was diagnosed with, and that's the reason why I couldn't walk properly and was in the mobility scooter. And then the cancers came a bit later, and that's why I had to keep going having all the blood transfusions. And I have so many hospital appointments, or did have so many hospital appointments. But I had 1 set of chemotherapy, and that lasted about 6 months. And then I was going to have another different type of chemotherapy. And they told me it was much stronger, and with this one, I would definitely lose my hair. And like we said, I had long dreadlocks. So the boys had watched me go from having like straight perm and weave, and then locks my hair,
Proper,
and grew
yeah.
my locks.
That's what I said, proper locks.
Yeah, I watched how they
proper,
grew my locks. I was proud of my locks.
Proper
And then
locks.
all of a sudden, I remember having to sit me down. But I remember with you guys, I weren't so worried about this bit. But I remember with you being quite concerned that because of your age, if I lost my hair, that you might be afraid of me. So I remember sitting you down, and we were in my room. This is when I lived in the flat, and I said, "Oh, baby, like the doctors are going to give Auntie a new medicine, and it's going to make my hair fall out." And you said, "Your hair's going to fall out, Auntie." And I said, "Yes, baby, I'll be bald. But don't be scared, I'm going to be the same Auntie Simone, I just won't have any hair." And you just looked at me and you burst out laughing.
I can imagine.
Like,
I can imagine still. She's
and
not laughing.
right,
innit?
but you know what? It put me at ease because I thought, well, she's going to be fine.
Yeah, she's gonna be calm.
Whereas on the other hand, and this is what I mean by adults handle these things so much worse than the children. You guys helped me get through it because you always just treated me like me. Like, no matter what happened, what was going on when you came and visit me in hospital, I was just Auntie Simone to you. Like, you never changed how you treated me. Whereas Kai, of course, is a few years older than you guys, so your oldest brother. So when my hair actually fell out, so I had said to him, yeah, you know, this new treatment, it's going to be stronger, going to lose my hair. And he was like, okay, calm. And then the first time he came to see me after it had fallen out, it had only been like a few days and I'd forgotten. I would literally forget I've got no hair. So the door's gone, I'm expecting him. So I've opened the door and he literally stared in my face, screamed, and ran off down the drive. Like some kind of monster had just opened the door. And I stood there and I just thought to myself, it's just as well I'm not self-conscious about when you look, isn't it? So yeah, so he didn't take it so well. And then he was like, oh my God, Ollie, I was just like, you scared me, man, you just scared me. And I was like, yeah. Thanks for that, nephew. So yeah, that was Kai's reaction. But actually, that's what adults are like. They freak out about these things, or they think, "Oh, this is how society expects me to react, so that's what I'll do." So like, when I had to obviously tell everyone when I first got diagnosed with MS, people were a bit like, "Don't know what it is, so whatever." But with the cancers, you'd get a, "Oh my God!"
Yeah, everyone knows cancer.
You're gonna die. They'd do the whole EastEnders reaction. And that's not realistic. And I was a bit like, what are you doing? Stop it. Sort yourself out. Get it together. So, you know, I'm not always the most, not empathetic, but yeah, I do kind of just go, get it together. Sort yourself out. So, so that was a bit weird. But no, you guys were always the ones it was easier to deal with. So I do remember, or do you remember when my hair fell out, what your favourite thing was to do?
Slap it.
Slap me in the back of my bald head. I can't even remember what the phrase was. That you used. Can't remember the phrase. And then you would copy him with your little self, and you were only about 2 or 3 by then, maybe 4 the most. But I remember you used to. What was that you used to say?
I like your cut.
Yeah, something like that, and slap me in the back of my head every opportunity. So but like I said, actually, I didn't mind because it just made me feel normal. Because you guys just treat me like normal.
No, I get it.
But do you, like you said, you don't really even remember who told you?
Yeah, that's what it is. I think it was Dad. That told me. I don't really remember fully. Like, I feel like I don't think my mum told me. I feel like it was Dad, but I fully don't remember like that.
So then, did it really have any impact on you, or would you say there was any impact as a child or a young person?
Yeah, I'd be being told as young. I don't feel like it affected me like that. I'd be real. Like, I don't feel like I don't like. As I said, I don't really remember, so I don't really feel like it affected me as much, innit?
Because us guys are close, even as a family.
Yeah,
we are
100%,
close.
yeah,
Like, we spend a lot of time together. So it is like, oh, you guys are like my kids.
Yeah,
they're my babies, aren't these babies? So because I know I was worried about how you guys would take it. As an adult in your lives who was very involved in your lives, I was concerned about scaring you, about you being worried. And part of that was of course, for the first time, we'd be having to work out how much you understood about these kind of conditions, if you'd ever even heard of them yet. So, and that's not a concept most adults have even really had to get their mind around until you do. Until it hits you and you're like, oh. But have you ever had any concerns about my health? Any times where you thought, okay, now I'm worried or now I'm concerned? Or have we managed to deal with it in a way that you're right?
I think we've dealt with it in a way.
Because I've always basically kept you guys informed, tried to keep you up to date, because I felt that actually it'd be less scary if you've got that information. Because I know as a kid, for myself, when things were happening, I actually found it less scary if I had an idea what was going on, and if I didn't.
Even sometimes when I look at your like WhatsApp videos and that, I see you do your chemo and that stuff like that, and all of that when you're in the hospital with the thing in your arm and all of that. I remember all of that. I was thinking like, there's definitely like, I understood a bit more in it. I understood about it a bit more. And like it didn't seem too much in it. It looked like you'll go through it.
So it didn't look as scary.
Yeah, it didn't look as a tool. Like when I say not a tool, I mean real. I didn't feel scared at all. Like I didn't feel worried at all. I feel like you'll be good. Like and that's what I'm thinking. Like you'll be good. You'll sort like everything will be calm. Like even when I saw you,
because for you it was a bit different. Because for you, it did have an unexpected effect on your skin. You remember that? Do you even remember that?
A little bit.
A little bit. Do you guys remember that?
I definitely remember that.
So, Amaya, you wouldn't, because I said you were a tiny baby, but your cousin here, It turns out she was allergic
Yeah,
to the chemo
yeah.
that I was having. So I was having the medicine and she was allergic to it. And this is apparently quite rare. So I hadn't even known it wasn't even something to be concerned about or that we had to think about. But essentially, the drugs they give me were incredibly strong. So it comes out in your pores, it comes out in your sweat. So when I'm getting all sweaty running around, not that sweaty, you know, I shower, but it would be in my pores. So if I hugged Janaya, it would get onto her. And her skin was allergic to it. So then she ended up with a form of eczema. So her entire skin would break out in this rash from head to toe, and then that rash would be very itchy, and then it would start to peel off. And because she was a baby as well, she would also scratch it in places. But I can remember in places where her skin creases, so like her elbows creases, and under her, you know, back of her knees, it would bleed. It would peel off until her skin would bleed, and it would actually be painful for her. So it meant that I basically couldn't see her at all for about 2 years, 18 months, 2 years, yeah. And this was a child that I used to see pretty much every other weekend.
All the time.
Yeah, me and your
All the time.
uncle were living in the same house at the time. So when your uncle had his kids for the weekend, Auntie's room was upstairs.
Upstairs, you used to always run up there.
She always used to sleep
run
in
up
my
there,
room.
yeah.
When it was Daddy's weekend, she would sleep. She wouldn't have it. I remember one time going out for the night. I was going to stay at my mate's house. And your dad had to call me. I was like, "You need to come home." And I was like, "You don't need to. What are you talking to? I need to come home." He was like, "Listen, your niece decided she's not going to sleep because she sleeps in Auntie's room and Auntie's not here. So she's refusing to go to sleep until you get your backside home." And I had to come home because
Not sleeping, isn't
she's not going to bed because she goes to sleep in Auntie's room. So she refused to go to sleep. So when I come in, there she was downstairs screaming like a banshee at the top of her lungs, which wasn't like her. She wasn't a cryy baby. But no, because Auntie's not home and she's not going to sleep until Auntie's home. And then literally like marched upstairs with me, and she was only just like starting to walk upstairs, marched upstairs, climbed into the bed, literally waiting for me. Like she was looking at me like, "Get yourself in the bed." And that was it. That was my bedtime, I was told. But yeah, so then, like that was before I was ill. Like literally, like you're doing very young, before I had the cancer. So I had MS, yes, but it was before I had the cancer. And yeah, you decided you're not going back until Auntie gets home. So we were very, very close. And now we've gone from that to we couldn't be in the same room for 2 years.
Remember when you always used to take me to that park?
Yeah, at the bottom of the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like every weekend, the amount of videos I had in that park. But yeah, so that was hard, and we missed each other. So we talk on the phone. Technology wasn't where it is now, so we couldn't do video calls in the way we can now. Like it was camcorders. I think we would have had the first smartphones with videos then, but I don't know if we had video calling yet. I don't think we had like WhatsApp video calls yet when this was happening. So it was just phone calls.
Phone calls, isn't it?
I
Yeah.
already had a big event. I think it was in your house. Yeah. Was it? I think so. And then Jabari, Jemaya, all that. And I said, "Mom, can I go?" And Mom said, "No."
Oh, see, I can't even remember what that was. Yeah. But I remember when we realised I couldn't even be in the same room with you. I think it was your birthday in Catford. We'd gone to a restaurant in Catford.
Oh yeah.
And we put us to sit at the opposite end of the table, and I quite literally, from the time I got there, I was on a seat by the door, and I did not move from that seat because I didn't want to touch anything else in that building in case you went near it. But then at one point you'd come down to that end of the table to like talk to Nanny or something, and you leant on the back of the chair I'd been sitting in, and my coat was on the back of the chair. And so of course I had transferred onto the coat, and she broke out the next day. And all she'd done was lean on a coat that and that's when we realised I can't even be in the same building as her, and we had to literally cut. But I do remember, I mean, like we had to explain to you that you hadn't done anything wrong. I remember a conversation with your mum where you'd been upset because you thought you'd done something wrong and it was a punishment why you weren't allowed to see me and you'd gotten upset. So I remember that, and then I had to talk to you. So no, you haven't done anything wrong, baby. It's Auntie. But I remember coming off the phone then, and because you feel someone was going to well up now. But I remember coming off the phone that day, and I remember when we took you to see a specialist dermatologist about your skin, So it's me, you and your mum, but because it was important they knew exactly what medications I was on, how often, the dosage, so I went as well, rather than trying to download all that info to your mum and explaining, trying to get this dermatologist to understand what I thought the seriousness of this, because in my eyes I have caused harm to a child. I saw it like I was some kind of child abuser. I took it really hard, so I literally was in tears, literally just broke down in tears in front of the doctor, in front of your mum just looked very awkward, and I was very awkward because I don't do public emotions, yeah. So I was, but because I felt so upset and so bad, because as far as I was concerned, I've harmed a child. Like, death to people who hurt kids. So I was like, take her outside and shoot her now. So that was difficult. But you, the whole time, even then when I was sitting there crying, in the corner playing with the toys. Because remember the doctor saying to us, could it be psychosomatic? Could it possibly be that the child is stressed? And I'm still trying to fight back tears, and I'm saying, does she look stressed? Sit in the corner playing. So yeah, I mean, a lot of times that's the thing. Adults will assume that the kids are going to take it really hard and not be able to cope with bad news, and it's not the case. To be honest, you guys don't care what happens to us lot.
It's not that we don't care, man.
You do care, but you deal with it a lot better than adults, and you don't let it affect you negatively. I mean, that's a better way.
Yeah, definitely. That's what it is.
Every time I called you, I was like, where are you, auntie? And then he was like, oh, I'm in the hospital. And I was like, oh yeah, of course you are. So
You just got used to her. She's always there. Yeah. Because your baby brother, he did think I lived in the hospital. Yeah. I think it was that last year when Mum was saying to him, okay, so it was one of the, like, Mum and Daddy overnight, and she said to him, where's Daddy? Daddy's at work. Where's Mummy? Mummy's at work. Where's Granddad? Granddad's at work. Where's Auntie? Auntie's at the hospital. So yeah, and then he said, Auntie lives at the hospital. I was like, no, she really doesn't. I know it feels like it, because for him at that time, because Mum has him every Wednesday, and at that time my regular appointments were on a Wednesday a lot. So a lot of the time on the Wednesday you were either dropping me off, or they were picking me up, or they'd be in the car while I was in there. So yeah. So he thought that, and he's like, Auntie lives. It was the way she went, and then he said, Auntie lives at the hospital.
I can imagine.
He doesn't think anyone else lives at work. He lives at the hospital. So yeah, I'm trying to change that now. Take him other places rather than just hospital. And my regular appointment dates are no longer Wednesdays.
Oh, that's good.
Thursday and Friday now.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't live at the hospital anymore.
That's funny.
So yes, but yeah, it's been an interesting
Proper.
decade, isn't it?
Can't lie, I've probably been interested.
Yeah.
Has
it given you guys more? Do you feel like you're more informed about these kind of conditions now?
I'd be real, like, seeing you and like I feel like I know a bit more of it, especially like with chemo and all of that, and that with the hair falling out and that. I thought just when you get cancer, your hair falls out. I didn't know it was from the chemo. I didn't know from the chemo.
That's a common misconception.
Therefore, I thought you just get cancer, hair falls out. That's all part of the process, isn't it? I'd be real. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I did not know all of that.
And I know I learnt a lot, like when your nan had breast cancer, and that was the first time I learnt about what's called a cold cap. So with certain types of chemotherapy for certain cancers, you can wear what they call is a cold cap, and it literally looks like some kind of mad science cap with the bits coming out of it, wires coming out of it. But it's hooked up to a machine, and it literally freezes your head. So like when they took it off your nan, there was literally ice hanging off of her dreadlocks. It's that cold. And she had it on the whole time they were putting the chemotherapy through her. The whole time she had the transfusion.
How long does that take?
It was about an hour, I want to say, but it might have been a bit short. I don't know, but I felt like it was about an hour.
Well, that's an hour coldness in your head, though, isn't it?
And you have to wet your hair before with shampoo to make it proper ice up. But because it's frozen the follicles, it protects them, and so there's less chance of your hair then falling out. So that's why your nan kept most of her hair when she had chemotherapy, because with the chemo she was having, she was able to use the cold cap. But with mine are different. Mine, a lot of them are injections and tablets, and not those IVs for an hour at a time. So you can't use a cold cap. And so then lost my hair. So it does depend on the type of cancer you have, and therefore the chemo you have will also have an effect on your hair. Because when I lost my hair, that was the second type of chemo I had. The first type didn't lose my hair, but it was a different one.
You see, that's the same thing as well. Cause I thought all chemo was the
Same
same
here.
thing. Yeah, I thought
I
all
thought
the same.
all
Like,
chemo
yeah.
makes you. I knew it was the chemo, not the cancer, but I thought all chemo makes you lose your hair. Until my own experience.
see, like, yeah.
Yeah, well, until your nan's experience
Yeah,
with
yeah,
cold
yeah,
cap, and
yeah,
that's when I
yeah.
realised. And then mine, I realised not all chemos make you lose your hair.
Mm.
So that, like, how do you guys feel about your health? Do you ever have concerns about your own health or your own futures, or not? You know, you're all still young, right?
To be honest though, because you and Nanny got it, it kind of does like. No, I don't.
Think
Right,
about
right
it.
now, I don't really think of it too much because I'm still kind of young, innit?
Mm.
But later on in the future, I'm thinking like maybe like possibility that one of us can could get something, innit?
But would
That is
you
a possibility.
do you think it would make you more inclined to do things like with men, obviously prostate cancer, women don't have prostates, but would it make you more willing to go and have the test to make sure you're well when they start offering you things like prostate tests?
Yeah,
And
I
stuff?
don't know about that. I don't know if I want a man finger in my
If it
ass.
happens-
Yeah, but it's not. Yeah, but you see,
It
again,
happens,
that's
it
another.
happens.
But that's
I don't
another
want no
common
bad finger.
misconception. Now, a lot of the time, if I remember correctly, it's a mouth swab.
Oh, mouth swabs.
Mouth swab or
Oh,
blood test.
mouth
one or the
swab, then I
other.
don't mind
Yeah,
still.
there you go.
But I know for fun, I haven't known for like, you know what
But
I'm
the thing
saying?
is, there's so many things that can need you to have those. Let's call them internal examinations.
Yeah, cool, yeah, that,
Right.
yeah, internal,
Because,
yeah.
for instance, like I know you remember because you even talked about this earlier. Do you remember that first collapse I had?
Yeah, on the roadside, innit? Yeah, I
Down the
remember
road
on
from
the
the house,
roadside,
yeah.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was a mad one.
Yeah, that your
I
dad.
remember you telling me that one, and then came
filmed.
past and that your dad
Yeah.
filmed
Yeah.
it.
Because that's what your dad does. Where everyone's
Love him
falling
for
out
it.
the front door or collapsing in the
Oh,
street.
yeah.
Your dad's there with a camera. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's so true, though.
Typical younger brother.
It's so
Okay,
true.
you've got orders to come with your bigger brothers and your younger brother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny.
Everything you do, they're there with a camera to take the mick out of you.
We always had it on camera.
There you go.
I
So
proper remember that one, though, when you
yeah,
telling
the
us. Yeah,
first
that was
collapse.
mad, yeah.
Yes, because I got it on camera. Safe forever.
Mm.
But yeah, it was like, what was the point I was going to make then? I lost the point. Yeah, but so when I got to hospital that day, obviously we didn't know what I had yet. I just collapsed, and we actually
Oh, then you didn't know then?
no. So we
Oh.
actually just assumed it was the MS.
Yeah,
So I was
yeah.
like, okay, maybe I've caught an infection, and that's caused me to collapse because I've got MS, so weak immune system, right?
See, yeah,
Makes
yeah.
sense, right?
Definitely,
So
yeah.
when I got to the hospital and they've done a blood test and said, no, your hemoglobin is like in your toes, really low, and I was like, well, that's not MS. So because it doesn't do anything to your blood
Yeah,
count,
yeah,
so it
yeah,
made
yeah.
no sense. But so their first thought was internal bleeding.
Mm.
So they were like, have you had a car accident? And I said, I think I would have remembered and let you know if I
No,
had a car
100%, yeah,
accident. I wouldn't have just gone, I won't tell the doctors at the hospital.
Yeah,
But either way, one of the things they did to check for internal bleeding was an external examination with a finger up the hole.
Oh.
So, yeah, so
What's MS?
that's multiple sclerosis. So that's a neurological condition, which is another word we'll explain to you in a minute, but it means that it's like, imagine all the nerves in your body are like an electric circuit. And sometimes you get a short circuit, you know, like when the plug stops working, or when your phone charger stops working. It's working. It's like I've got those in the wiring,
Yeah, I
In
remember
my
I
body.
seen that wires. I was like,
Yes.
what is that?
and it's like the wiring in. Oh, that was a different
Yeah,
hemoglobin. So yeah,
plug
and I'm
I
thinking-
remember the
In
plug
your
thing.
arm.
no, so we have veins. You know, you got your veins all in your body. So it's like having short circuits in the nerves that are in the veins. So the nerves send messages around your body. So you have them all over inside your body as well. So that's how your brain gets the messages around your body, is through the nerves. So if you've got short circuits in those nerves, it means the brain can't get those messages around your body properly. And that's MS.
Okay.
So the messages can't get through. And so it messed with my legs. So that's why once I then got cancer as well, it was like with the cancer and the MS was like, no, I don't like this. So I was struggling to walk. So that's why I used a mobility scooter for those 5 years. But now I'm on this new treatment for one of my cancers, and it worked, whereas the chemotherapies before hadn't worked. Oh, I'm boring you, I'm sorry. It's late, I know it's late. So basically with the new treatment, it did work, and it's worked well enough that it's basically put the two cancers to sleep. We call it remission, but it's like it's put them to sleep, and so it's made me well enough again, made my health better a bit, so I don't need a mobility scooter anymore.
Is that not expensive though?
The treatment?
Yeah.
Incredibly. So this treatment, if I remember correctly, I saw that it costs something, oh, let me see if I can get these numbers right. I think it was something like £750,000 per patient.
Raw, per patient as well, raw.
Yeah. So,
And that's just each chemo you're saying? What's
no,
that?
each patient.
Oh, each patient?
So I don't know what kind of period they're talking about over,
Yeah.
because basically I will have this, to some degree I will have this treatment now to keep me going for the rest of my life. Myeloma isn't curable. So I don't know what time span they're talking about that over, but I think that's the initial few months that got it into remission. That's the kind of figures you're talking about. So this is why we're so grateful for the NHS. Because paying international insurance is why I haven't had to have health insurance like they do in places like America. And I have to pay for it.
You would have to pay money then,
and if it weren't covered or you don't have insurance, then you can't pay for it, and then you are just left to die.
Left to die, innit?
And that's what happens in the States currently. That's what happens with their health system. We have the NHS, so every working adult, as these guys will get now, pays international insurance, and that money is what pays for the NHS. There's a bunch of other stuff as well, but does also cover the NHS. And what it means is that it's paid for already for you. So all those years I've been working and going, look how much national insurance they've taken out of my paycheck every month. Now I'm really glad they took it out of my paycheck every month, because it means I'm still here. To make sure that you two washed your dishes earlier. Aren't you glad?
I washed the fork, but then I finished it off for me.
Okay, well there you go. There you go. But yeah, you wouldn't have been able to do that because I won't be here. So yeah, very grateful for the NHS.
Fully get that. So when you was in the other house in that down the road, what was that? You had MS in that then, innit?
Both.
Oh yeah,
so
both of them then.
basically, when I was living in the house with your dad,
I
was fully well. Happy.
Yeah, I remember at the beginning, everything was calm.
I'd always been an incredibly fit and healthy person. Like, I used to do athletics right up until my early 20s. I used to run. I loved the 100, 200 metres sprinter. I was a sprinter. Loved it. I was in the gym a couple of times a week. I was fit as a butcher's dog. Like, I had a proper six-pack. The works.
Six-pack.
Yeah, I literally had a six-pack. I was cut. I was cut. I do have a picture. What is it? So hard to imagine. Yeah, little fat yarn. But yes, thank you very much. I was very fit and trim and healthy. And then it was maybe when I was about 26, I'd say. 25, 26. That's when I started to notice I was really struggling with like energy levels. I'd fall asleep on the way home from work, that kind of thing. And then it took another, 10 years before I was finally diagnosed with MS.
Oh, for 25, 26 though?
Yeah.
That's actually
when I
early though.
Yeah, and then things like the muscle spasms. But I just thought in that stuff that happens to everyone. Like, I could literally look at my arm and see the nerve
twitching
in my
arm.
What's
up to my arm? Me twitching as well.
I'm about to get checked. Sorry.
I was going to check them out. I don't know, but I said that. I'm going to go check that. I was going to get checked though. That's so bad. That's so bad.
There's a bunch of other symptoms as well. Yeah, I forgot the point I was going to make there as well. But yeah, so living with your dad, we were sharing a house, sharing a home. And all these things would be happening to me, and so he saw it all as well. You guys saw it all, because I was going through all of that, because you were there all the time as well. So,
I fully remember. Yeah, I can always remember you upstairs. You used to run up there, go to your room straight away. Yeah, I remember. I fully remember.
Yeah. We used to get in trouble for
Yes, leaving all the lights on. Yeah, used to drive you around McDonald's crazy.
In the house.
Yeah, but I was fully well. But that was the point that we were making. So I moved out of that house because, of course, that house did have loads of stairs. So it was when I had the MS, I was struggling with the stairs, but I was managing. I was making it work. But then with the cancer, because it made me so anemic, which meant I had such like low levels of energy and stuff. What had happened was a couple of occasions, just walking up the stairs, I collapsed.
Oh yeah.
So and then of course.
So that's what happened on the road then, basically.
So it was that physical exertion.
Yeah.
Like my body was seeing it like I'd done a full gym workout.
Yeah.
So the house was just too much. So we moved into a ground floor flat, 1 story, from the ground floor. As adults, we do worry about how it will affect the young people in our life. So it's good to know that actually you guys are good. And like I said, my experience has been that children and young people handle these things actually way better than adults. adults are the ones that you need to be way more concerned about how they'll take the news initially and then how they process it. I found you guys always seemed way more comfortable with asking questions, whereas adults kind of tiptoe round it. You know, the way
step
they're
on
gonna,
eggshells and that as well.
definitely step on eggshells. Where I'd rather just ask me, and I am an open book. I know not everyone is, and these things don't apply to everyone. You know, there will be kids who are a lot more sensitive, and you can't handle it in the way we did with you guys. There are adults who are way more sensitive about being asked questions, whereas I don't care, ask me. So yeah, it does depend on the individual, but
that's true.
4 of you out.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I don't know,
You've
man.
all been absolutely
I've been calm. Yeah, I was calm. I'll be real, man.
Where was your big brother who ran off screaming down the drive? And it very, very amusing. Yeah.
That's so madness.
But yeah.
man.
Anyway,
I
who
get
fancies
that.
another drink?
Yeah,
Let me
ready
go and
for
get
a
the
bit.
drinks in.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed taking the time out to share that conversation with you, and I hope you think it was time well spent. See you all soon.